The crossover lunge may be an exception to the lunge rule, where one leg bends while the other one stays extended. Now we could cross the leg over to the opposite side and keep the back leg extended, but we may want to load a little bit more into that forward leg so we can allow that back leg to just bend into the knee. And what I mean by that is if you were to imagine that you're standing on a clock with 12 directly in front of you and 6 directly behind you, you would take your left leg and lunge forward and across to about 1 or 2 o'clock at the most. And then you would return to center, and the right leg might travel across to the left over to, say, 10 or 11 o'clock. So it might look like this, where you step over and across, and you're loading into this leg. Now I can keep that back leg straight and just see if I can load into this forward leg before stepping back. Do the same thing to the opposite side. Can I keep the pads of my rear foot down, that back knee extended? Can I load into this forward leg while keeping my torso facing forward and drive back on up? By taking the leg across the body, it takes the pelvis along for the ride. And if I can keep my torso facing forward, then when I'm starting to experience in the body, I'm introducing that type of opposition between the rib cage and the pelvis. And it may be a wonderful experience that doesn't happen very often if, say, you have a prolonged period of sitting behind the wheel of a car or a desk or whatnot. So by doing the crossover lunge, we can experience that opposition of the body. Now I can also allow this leg to drop down, which puts a lot more work into the forward leg, allowing me to get down deeper into it, loading this tissue a bit more, especially the inside portion of my quadricep, we call the VMO, vastus medius obliquus, and the glute hamstring complex. So these are two areas that oftentimes have a tendency to weaken. So it's a nice way to revitalize and invigorate areas that have a tendency to kind of shut down on us. And with that crossover lunge, again, we want to make sure that the torso faces forward with just the pelvis and lower portion dropping down or loading. Be sure to assess before and after these movements to make sure that one direction is the one that you need to go to. Or maybe it's both directions. Or maybe your body is saying, I'm not ready for this motion at this time. Assess, perform, reassess with everything we do.